It's U of L Today on 93.9 The Ville. Here's your host, Mark Hebert.
And welcome to U of L Today with Mark Hebert on 93.9 The Ville. This is a show about all the good things going on at the University of Louisville. We got lots of good news and stuff to share with you today, so I hope you'll stick around for the next half an hour or so. Maybe you'll learn something. On the show today, the University of Louisville will be handing out its first undergrad degree in sustainability. That soon-to-be grad will be here to talk with us. We'll also have a couple of students talking about the food recovery program. That's an effort to reduce food waste that they've started here on campus, which is a big deal. You want to hear about that. But first, you hear an awful lot of news about the University of Louisville student-athletes and what they do on the field or the court. But what about their performance in the classroom and in the community? Well, Marvin Mitchell is a senior associate athletic director, and he's here to talk about U of L athletic successes off the field. Marvin, always good to see you.
Man, thanks for having me.
How you doing?
Pretty good. A little chilly this morning, but you know what? That gets you going, right?
All right. So you've got some good news from the student-athletes graduation statistics front, correct?
Absolutely, man. We're so happy with the continued success we're having in the classroom. A lot of people think about student-athletes and they think about coming to the game and watching them perform and if they're going to go pro or not. But when you look at the graduation rates and what we're doing in the classroom, it's really impressive.
And it's really an untold story,
Absolutely.
I think. I think people do not pay attention. As hard as Henny Klein puts out information every year about the graduation rates and those kinds of things, I think people, again, like you said, pay so much attention to what's going on the field, on the court, that they don't realize how hard these student-athletes are working in the classroom.
Absolutely. And, you know, we've had success all across the board. And, you know, I know we're going to get into, you know, some of the stuff that happens with our students when they leave and maybe not graduate and come back. But the overall total success of the program is something that, you know, we don't like to brag about, but when you see it, it's just really impressive.
What's the graduation success rate? What is that?
So the graduation success rate entails everybody that came to your school, and if they left in good standing or if they went somewhere and graduated or came in transferred as a transfer and they graduated, we actually get to count all those students that we help graduate now. So that rate is the true rate about who's graduating from college working within, you know, the academic services support system.
Right. And so, in other words, if a student I'm going to use Luke Hancock to take folks back
Absolutely.
a little bit. So he came here from, George Mason, I guess it was.
We got to count his when he graduated. Absolutely. And, of course, he was one of our amazing students.
Yes, he was. And a great student athlete, too.
On and off the court,
yes,
absolutely.
And still is.
Yes, yes.
Great alumni.
Absolutely.
Well, what is the GSR for the most recent GSR? It just came out, let's see, it'll be last week when the show airs.
Sure.
So what's the GSR for U of L student athletes?
So we are at 88%, which for us is huge. It's 22% higher than what it was when we started tracking this thing. And that success that we've had, you know, when you look at it from year to year, you're just like, oh, great, we're graduating, we're doing a good job. But when you look at it from the beginning until now, you see how impressive that number is.
So 88% of the students who were at the University of Louisville and either left or just came in one way or the other.
Left in good standing. You cannot leave in bad standing, right?
And bad standing means what? You didn't.
We don't count them. We cannot count them. But for us, any kid that's transferred from us in the past 6 years had to be in good standing. That's just a rule that we have, along with being in the ACC. Absolutely.
And just to be clear, that 88% is a 6-year graduation rate.
6-year graduation rate.
And that's really pretty phenomenal because the graduation rate among the 6-year graduation rate among all students at the University of Louisville is around 54% or so. Correct. So student athletes are really doing the job in the classroom. What are the programs that you have within athletics? And as an associate athletic director, what do you oversee that helps these student athletes? You know, they're off traveling to you know, on the road all the time. They've got practices and stuff. What programs you got to get them through their classes?
Well, as it was once said, we do it with mirrors, trick mirrors,
smoke and
right?
mirrors,
smoke and mirrors. No, but we have a really good staff, and I think just the relationship with the campus, you know, faculty and staff. The old saying that it takes a village to raise kids. That's absolutely what we work on, and working with Elaine Wise, our faculty athletic rep, and the Committee on Academic Performance, which is an oversight committee for athletics. The president, the provost, Beth Boehm. It's a really good relationship, and having those lines of communication open helps us with students who may have to go play a game and miss a class and not get class notes. So we have the excuse absence policy, which the university, since the time I've been here, has wholeheartedly embraced, and they allow students, any student that is representing the university, to make up work or take a test, be proctored at a away game. And all of those efforts together with our amazing tutorial program and the staff that we have has contributed to the success that we're having with graduation rates.
We're talking to Marvin Mitchell, who's a senior associate athletic director at UofL, and we're talking about the graduation rates and the academic successes of our student athletes here at the University of Louisville. But you do have a tutoring available to these students in the new, Thornton Center?
Thornton's Academic Center of
at
Excellence.
the football stadium.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it is a mouthful. It's got a big name.
Short, we call it TACE.
Call it what?
TACE for short. TACE.
TAC.
And the students'
Not
term,
the TAC. It's a
no,
okay.
the TACE. The students' name that we're like, okay, we're going to go with it.
Whatever. But again, you do have some things that are available to those students if they're struggling in a math class or they're struggling in an English class or something like that, that
Yes.
they can get some help.
Group tutoring sessions, individual tutoring sessions. We have some of the best tutoring. So we are CRLA certified, which is the same certifying group that certifies tutors on campus and across the nation. Lauren Hansen does a great job with training our tutors and making sure they know what they can and cannot help students with. And our students get the opportunity to work with some of the best tutors available.
I know a lot of folks heard when Charlie Strong was the football coach here about what the lengths that Charlie Strong and his staff went to make sure that kids were showing up for class, that the students were actually that he would actually show up sometimes for 8 o'clock classes to make sure his players were showing up.
Interesting sight to see, yeah.
Yeah, I know it wasn't. I actually walked in on a class one time,
like,
and Charlie Strong's in there. What's he doing in there?
Shouldn't you be coaching? No, we're coaching these kids in class, yeah.
Yeah, so we heard about that. But is there that level of commitment by other coaches at UofL to really pound it into their student athletes' heads?
Yeah, yeah.
Guys, you got to be here for practice, but you got to go home and do your homework.
Absolutely. So what we do each day and each week, we send the reports to our coaches to let them know the academic success or progress of our kids every week. Mm-hmm. So they know they have a snapshot, daily snapshot, weekly snapshot of what's going on. And if a student is falling behind, again, our relationship with our coaches, great, and they respond at a very quick and high rate for us to make sure they can rectify the situation.
So if Dan McDonald's got a pitcher that's falling behind in his classes and he's got a 1.4 in his class or something.
No question. Never a 1.4. Maybe a 2.4. We're not that low. No.
Okay.
No.
But
We've come a long way. Yeah.
You get the idea what I'm
Absolutely.
saying, though, that he's more than
on
happy.
top of it.
Okay.
Absolutely. And gives our counselors and our staff that works the leeway to tell the kids, make sure you're doing this because you listen to them like you listen to us, and that really helps support-wise.
Marvin, we talked a little bit about the current student athletes. We should brag on them that you got like over 400 that carry a 3.25 GPA or higher, so that's really good. But you've got some folks that are old. I'm going to call them old. You may not want to say that, but I'm going to call them old student athletes who played here at UofL, who may have left and didn't finish their degrees, and they're coming back and getting them.
Absolutely. So Houston Bridgman Fellowship Program, Junior Bridgman Wade Houston stepped up years ago when I first got here to say, hey, what can we do to help the student athletes who haven't graduated from UofL? We know it's not going to help graduation rates, but we want to help them. Well, we have several come back. It's interesting. Joe Jacoby was just here for a game. He rang the bell for us. Joe came back to the program after years of being in the NFL and Super Bowl champion and Hall of Fame, and he did a great job for us. Also, Marcus Maben, who I believe works here.
Works at this radio station.
Absolutely. Came back and probably is more popular now than he was ever on the basketball court. Yes, I'm saying that, Marcus, if you're hearing this.
If he's listening.
Andrew Farrell, who was our number one draft pick in the MLS, is finishing up right now. And then Paolo DiPiccolo, who just won the Lou City. He was the one of the captains for the team championship here, finished up a couple of years ago. So in the beginning when we first came back, the guys like Joe Jacoby, older players were coming back and finishing. But the Andrew Farrell's and Paolo DiPiccolo, man, I just call him PP, right? They're coming back not because they weren't good academic students, but because they had opportunities to go, they left in great standing. They were great students. But this program is even helping those kind of kids now. We don't have as many, but just to have that program in place here is really important for us in the recruiting and making sure that students know if you come here, whether you graduate the first time or not, we are committed to making sure you get your degree from the University of Louisville.
We're waiting to see if Donovan Mitchell takes some online classes and come back.
And he's already talked about it.
Has he?
Great student. Oh, man.
Yeah. He was a good student. You know what?
He'll do it, and he'll probably do it without even letting us know because that's so he was brought up that way.
Yeah.
Great family. So absolutely.
Yeah. And do they take online classes, these guys
They
that have
can.
left and come back, or do they actually show up on campus?
A
for
lot
the
of them are going to
classes?
come back because it's the whole experience of being in class and being on campus. And, you get from them when they come back, what is this campus? What happened to the school that I came to? Like Louisville's,
In a good way.
In a
It's
good way.
awesome,
We've done a great job here, man. Like this school has transformed itself, and you have more and more alumni being very proud of being students here in the past.
All right. Again, we're talking with Marvin Mitchell, Senior Associate Athletic Director at the University of Louisville. I got to ask you the big societal question. You hear all the time folks criticizing universities saying, well, they recruit these black athletes, primarily African-American athletes, and they go out on the football field, they make money for the universities, and they don't graduate, and they don't wind up with anything.
Sure.
But if you look at our stats at the University of Louisville, it appears to me that the African-American athletes have just as high a graduation rate or pretty close to it as all the athletes. Is that right?
So our goal is to make, if you come here, you're going to graduate. And our staff is committed to that. So even when kids don't want to, because kids have the mentality, I want to come and play football or basketball, and that's it. I don't care about graduate. We make sure that we utilize the time that they're here to instill in them, like, no matter what, when you finish your career, period, NFL, NBA or not, you will still have a lot of life to live. And we want to make sure that you take advantage of this opportunity and don't let the university use you. You use us to gain the advantage and have a great life after your playing days are over.
Right. And I think the graduation rate, as I'm reading it, is 82% for our African-American athletes, which is
and we were recognized
really good.
Earlier this year about having one of the stronger programs and making sure that all of our kids graduate, particularly African-American males who are at a disadvantage at a lot of places across the country.
Right. And I do need to shout out one particular team. Women's swimming and diving had the highest GPA last school year at 3.7 was the overall GPA.
They will appreciate it. These kids, when I tell you they compete on and off the field, they compete on and off the field. Yeah. Absolutely.
All right. Marvin Mitchell, always great talking to you. With 16,000 undergrads, 6,000 grad students, and 7,000 employees, a lot of food is consumed on the UofL campuses. Of course, there's a lot of food that's not consumed. It's leftovers. What happens to that food? Well, Erin Kurtz and Henny Ransdell are students who have started the Food Recovery Program. Erin is also going to be the first grad in UofL's new sustainability degree program. So we're going to talk to these two about that. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
All right. So you are what? Henny, you're what? What year are you in school?
I'm a sophomore, anthropology, sociology double major.
Okay. And Erin?
I'm graduating in December, so I'm a senior.
Ooh, you're really ready to get out, aren't you?
Yes. But I'm an anthropology and sustainability major.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that how you two met? You're both in the anthropology program?
Well, actually, we met through sustainability because I'm the zero waste intern for the Sustainability Council.
And I'm the communications intern, so we worked closely together for a while, but then we kind of actually bonded over food issues. Like we attended a speech on hunger together.
Okay, so that's how you kind of got together and got in this food network thing. All right, well, let's talk a little bit about this program you've got, the two of you have got going on campus. Why don't you tell me about it?
Yeah, well, like Henny mentioned, we actually had a student from Bellarmine who was like president of Bellarmine's Food Recovery Network. She came to a meeting on campus here, and we were just inspired by the work that she was doing and her group was doing, and we got together and decided we wanted to make this happen for U of L because, I mean, we do have so much food wasted. We wanted to do something with it.
And we kind of recognized, as an institution, we had a really great resource here since there was so much food being produced that the issue of hunger could be easily resolved, like a social justice issue as well as a sustainability issue, that Erin and I could work together starting out with just the two of us, making runs a couple times a week, collecting bagels and bringing them to different food banks downtown. So we just kind of bonded over that.
And it's called the Food Recovery Network, right?
Yes.
So what is that? Is that a national thing that's on campuses or off campuses, or what is that?
So Food Recovery Network National is a nonprofit program that oversees a bunch of different universities' practices. Like, they have over 223 chapters in the United States. And so they're this large nonprofit corporation where they help give us the tools and resources to be able to find out, like, where do we find different places we can donate in the city of Louisville? How do we work with dining services? Like, what protocols should we do with like food safety and recovery? So just making sure that we're like abiding by laws, making sure that our institution is set up well, making sure we organize different students well, and like how to transport food. So they're pretty much just the kind of overseers, and they give us the resources and tools to be able to do what we do.
We're talking with Henny Ransdell and Erin Kurtz, who are students at the University of Louisville, and they've started a food recovery, I guess you're calling it a network here on UofL's campus. Is that what you're calling it? It's part of the sustainability program at the University of Louisville. Erin, talk a little bit about what you guys do. I mean, explain what the program is. How do you collect the food? Who's participating? Those kinds of things.
Yeah. So originally we contacted our Aramark sustainability provider, and she set us up with a run.
Now explain who Aramark is.
Aramark is our dining provider here on
they
campus.
They provide all the dining services at UofL, right?
Yeah. And so they have a sustainability coordinator, and so she worked with us to find a location, which our first location was Einstein Bagels. And so we started collecting there 2 days a week. And what that looks like is we get like big reusable like lawn bags, and we take those to Einstein's, and they fill them up with their leftover bagels at the end of the day. They weigh it, and then we sign off on it, and we take it usually to St. Vincent de Paul or Wayside, somewhere like that downtown. And I mean, that's really it. It's a pretty simple process.
So that's how it started.
Yeah.
So it's just you two going to pick up the bags of bagels at Einstein's, which, by the way, Einstein's is a little food place in one of the academic buildings on UofL's campus, for those who don't know where Einstein's is. So on an average day, on a Monday, you go to pick up the bagels at Einstein's that are left over. How many do you have?
I think on average it's about 20 pounds, but we've had up to 60 pounds of bagels in one day, which
is quite funny watching one girl carry a 60-pound bag of bagels around campus.
Yeah.
And so then you take that to one of the charity organizations in town, the homeless shelters or something like that. And what do they do with it? They serve it the next morning for breakfast, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, they either serve it that night for dinner whenever we deliver it. Usually our delivery is around 4 or 5 p.m., or they wait the next morning to serve it. So we try to accommodate a lot of different needs in the city. Now that we're growing, we're able to address like Cabbage Patch, women, the Center for Women and Families. We can work with different organizations, and they'll put in requests, and then maybe we can like try to provide just more specifically to what they need.
And you said you're growing. What does that mean? You're doing more than Einstein's Bagels?
Yeah, we just have finally sort of solidified our process with the Starbucks in the SAC on campus, the Student Activity Center. We're working on expanding to the library Starbucks as well. There's also, we pick up from the different like pod sort of convenience store locations on this campus as well as the health science campus. We've also picked up items from the marketplace in the student center as well. And we're working on the Ville Grill. They sometimes have leftovers that they want us to pick up.
And now we're actually expanding in volunteer base as well.
Yeah.
So thankfully, because it was great working with just the two of us, but now we have about 30 available volunteers and 15 like regularly active volunteers. So it makes the process so much easier, especially when we may get a text on one of our phones during class and UofL's like, we have this huge catering order. Can you guys come pick it up? And we're like, oh no. So, we have to like message our volunteers to be able to come out and do that. So it's helped a lot with the recovery efforts as well, making sure that a lot of food is diverted from the landfill or compost.
So these are 15 students that regularly will, I guess, pack it in their car, go pick up the bags of bagels right now and pack it in their cars and take it to Wayside or wherever, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's pretty impressive.
Oh, thanks.
That really is. So how'd you get some other students involved? How'd that happen?
So a lot of it happened with once people started hearing about us, which was really beneficial to us because at first we were just kind of managing this project, thinking about how we could grow. Food Recovery Network was trying to give us the tools to grow, but we weren't really sure how to go about that yet. It was great because student involvement picked us up. They said it was a great initiative. They loved our ideas, and then they spread it to the Engage Leave Serve board, and then the Green Initiatives Committee, all their volunteers actually started jumping in with us, and then Erin presented to like public health classes. We started like trying to pursue like maybe maybe Sustainability 101 students or students who needed volunteer hours. And it just kind of like grew from there. Like people kept hearing about it and wanting to join in. And we still get emails probably all the time, emails, texts from people who are like, how do I get involved in this? This is so amazing. Like, what can I do?
It's very cool. Again, we're talking to Henny Ransdell and Erin Kurtz, who are students at the University of Louisville, and they're running the food recovery program at UofL. How many chapters are there? Did you say, Henny, earlier, how many chapters there were in college campuses across the United States?
Nationally, there's 223 chapters.
Okay, so there are an awful lot of other schools already doing this.
Oh, yeah.
And what have you learned from them?
It's been very helpful having Bellarmine help us out because I guess, Erin, you can speak a little bit on Tanya's part and her role in like making our chapter.
Yeah, so Tanya from Bellarmine University, she helped us with...
Let's give her a shout out. What's her last name?
Tanya Summerlin. Yeah,
Okay.
she actually just graduated last semester, and she's at Michigan right now. But she was just instrumental in us starting up and just like figuring out what a run would look like, and like just even going forward, you know, discussing with them how do we manage all of these volunteers, because this is very new to us and it's growing very quickly. So we really need their help and their expertise at this point to see, you know, how this works. Because we've also been working with their current president, Henny, at Bellarmine, and she has been really helpful in, you know, doing that volunteer management.
And now that we have this partnership, it works out really well because, like, for example, this weekend was the Kentucky Hunger Dialogue, and Erin and I were able to present with Emma talking about maybe, like, how to start up a food recovery network versus how to sustain one. So they may have the sustained version, but we have, you know, the startup program. So, like, trying to reach out to other universities and spread this initiative across the state of Kentucky.
What are the statistics for people that are hungry and the amount of food that's wasted every day, perhaps on UofL's campus or in the city of Louisville? Do you have any stats on that?
Yeah, about 1 in 6 people consider themselves food insecure, and then about 40% of our food produced in America is wasted and goes to the landfill.
And so you guys don't deal with like leftover food that would normally go in the trash can. You just deal with the bagels that are uncooked or unbaked or whatever, right?
Well, the bagels that just aren't served at the end of the day.
Bagels
Yeah.
not served. Right. Okay.
But we work with special events as well, so we will handle things like large trays of like vegetables, pasta. That's for catering and special events. As long as something is untouched, like it hasn't been like, you know, broken into yet with a spoon or like publicly served, we can recover it. So it gives us a lot of liability or liberality in like what we can collect and what we can try to, you know, make sure it doesn't get thrown away.
So in the future, do you want to have, instead of going to a wayside mission, do you want to provide the food that you're getting on campus, just like keeping it on campus for the students at UofL? Is that the idea?
Yeah, that's
much as we
totally-
can.
Yeah, what we can do. We would like to be able to stock the food pantry with food left over from campus and special events. And then when the food pantry is overflowing, then we can donate food downtown. So that way we're still like addressing community needs as well as student needs.
Are you getting any pushback from the folks who provide all the food on campus to that idea, saying,
No.
hey, well, you know, we're not going to get as much business from the students if they can go get this free food over here at the food pantry?
No, that was a concern I had, but we've not had any mention of that
Good.
problem.
And
Yes.
actually, on the other hand, we've had a lot of positive feedback from dining services because we've been helping them reassess how much money they spend and how much food they make during the day. So where our numbers in collection, like the pounds we receive, decreases over the semester, they're making less. So they know how much to make for the day and how much to predict because they're keeping track of those numbers at night. So I think like our services are actually almost helping everybody in a way.
You're listening to UofL Today with Mark Hebert on 93.9 The Ville, and we're talking with Henny Ransdell and Erin Kurtz, who are two UofL students. We're talking about the hunger problem in our community and how they're trying to help solve at least their portion of it by doing a food recovery program at the University of Louisville. Also, what does this say in your mind about students at the University of Louisville, not just you two, but the students who are helping you in this effort? It's a philosophical question.
I would just have to say that I've been overwhelmed with the amount of support we've received, not just from faculty, staff, people willing to tell our story or share it, but the students who are taking the time to deliver food from campus to people in need. They're so kind and giving, and they're just, you know, it's very difficult, especially right now with how time is crunched and different things people are involved in, and also the majors we're working with, like a lot of health majors, a lot of medical majors, so people you think would have like very rigorous schedules are wanting to be a part of this initiative because they see the value in not only promoting sustainability but also social justice.
Yeah, and it shows just how interdisciplinary this issue is and just how we're all involved in this issue, and we all want to play a part in solving the problem.
What's been the reaction of the places that you take the food?
Yeah, I had a really nice experience actually just last week, I believe. I dropped some food off at St. Vincent de Paul and finally got to meet the woman who I assume she works with the donation book. But I got to meet her, and she was I mentioned, you've probably seen much more like UofL students dropping things off, and she was like, yes, we have, and we're so thrilled, we're so thankful that you all are working with us and bringing this by, and so I mean that. Just getting to hear that was so nice. And then also just working with dining. A lot of the times when I go to pick up something from like the marketplace or one of the pods, they'll hug me, and they're just like so excited that I'm doing this. We have students doing this. So getting that feedback from all these different people has just been really, really heartening.
And the students as well, hearing their testimonies where they'll talk about when they encounter different people throughout the process, or they meet people they're working with, and they say they're like, I had no idea like how impactful this mission was. I had no idea like what a problem this was on our campus, being able to have testimony from different people.
Right. All right. Before we wrap up here, Erin, I got to talk about you a little bit. You're the first easy for me to say, sustainability program undergrad degree holder. You're going to get that in December, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So tell me, what's a sustainability degree?
Sustainability, our degree is very interdisciplinary, and so we're looking at, just the different ways that we can address these issues. And so we have the 3 pillars that we like to look at, which are social, economic, and environmental. It's more than just an environmental issue; it's a social issue, which this is, that's where Food Recovery Network came in for me. It was this connection of those issues. So
what do you hope to do with your degree?
I've really enjoyed working on a university. I've been the zero waste intern for the past year and a half. So I think in the future, if I could continue sort of coordinating either with multiple universities or on a single campus, I would love something like that.
That's what you'd like to do.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, congratulations to both of you on this great program, this food recovery program. Good luck on the expansion and moving into other areas, including the food pantry you hope to set up on UofL's campus. Mm-hmm. So I guess you won't be doing much since you're graduating here. You're just going to leave it to Henny, aren't you?
I'm going to try and
help out from time to time.
Stick around, get some volunteer hours in.
Yeah, we haven't quite thought about that yet. So
it's about time to start thinking about
it.
All right, Henny Ransdell and Erin Kurtz, students at the University of Louisville. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you.
All right, a few notes before we wrap up. First of all, a welcome to Sonia Harden, who's the new dean of UofL School of Nursing. Harden replaces the awesome Marcia Hearn, who has retired. Harden is formerly the associate dean for graduate programs and a professor in the College of Nursing at East Carolina University. Also, congratulations to the University Club, which received the 2018 Bridges Over Barriers Award from the Family Resource and Youth Services Coalition of Kentucky as the best partner for a nonprofit organization. Recognition for that award is derived from the strong partnership the U Club has developed with the Cochran Elementary School. For the past 11 years, the U Club has hosted kindergartners through 4th grade students at Cochran Elementary School for a pancake breakfast, a visit from Santa, treats, caroling, and gifts donated by Artie's Bears. So congratulations again to the University Club on the UofL campus for that big award. That'll about do it for this edition of UofL Today with Mark Hebert. You can hear every Monday and Tuesday night on 93.9 The Ville. You can also listen to podcasts of the shows on SoundCloud or watch the programs on Metro TV, Louisville's government access channel, and KETKY throughout the week. Check out all the UofL news, videos, and events at UofLnews.com. Thanks for listening to UofL Today with Mark Hebert, and go Cards!